education. And then I did go to acting school for 2 years in New York. Went to acting studio here, learning Meisner for 2 years. So that was my education here. But the background, the engineer remains. That's why I look at everything in a very technical way, entertainment industry included. I think it's all those bits and pieces you just have to put together and let the engine run.
So I guess the app, we should, maybe after the show, we're talking about the app amongst peers, in MJ and in Art. Hearing that, I have another question that doesn't involve Art this time. How many years did Coach MJ Tolan spend overseas before returning to the U.S.? Was it 15, 20, 30, or 25?
I'll say 20. I'll say 20. One of the answers 20?
Yes, one of the answers was 20.
I'll say 20.
Yeah, okay. I would say 22 because I would be surprised if this young man spent any more than that out there, or whatever he is eating, I need to be eating the same so that I can continue to look as young, as handsome as Coach MJ does. So I'll go with 20 years right now. Let's hear the right answer.
Coach?
Yes, well, I was. Of course, the story goes I was kidnapped in my pram. So it was taken out of my bassinet. I was taken overseas. So that's the reason for the longer term. Yes, thank you so much for the flattering remarks there. Art, it's all in the lighting. I assure you, it's all in the lighting.
Okay.
Okay, I need to learn. So was it 20 years? Well, how many years?
How many years?
30?
Yeah, there you go. About-ish.
About-ish. Yeah, but then it's okay. 20 to 30.
Yeah.
Where all did you, India you mentioned and Middle East, but where all did you spend your time?
I established businesses, companies, and startups in about 12 countries. So I was here's a good one. You come home and you ask your friends in the early 1990s, you go, you know what? The Berlin Wall just fell. Why don't we go into Poland and start a business there? You speak Polish? Oh, no. Why don't we go there? And so, you're trying to raise money for a business because that's your business plan. And everybody looks at you like, what have you been smoking? So that's where I went. I went into Poland, Lithuania, Turkey, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Bahrain, Lebanon, Dubai, Singapore, the Philippines, and Russia, of course. All great experiences, all meaningful relationships that I got to build with really interesting, different people than who I was raised with. And, of course, even though I visited India many times, I never did business there, but I met people that I was doing business with there on the island of Goa or the peninsula of Goa, whatever that is. Beautiful place. And sweetest people in the world. So, yeah, I'm now back as of last year to the new United States. It's culture shock, but on the other hand, I'm home, and I'm very delighted to be here.
Where are you in the U.S. right now?
I'm in Orlando, Florida, and yourself?
I'm in New York. I'm in New Jersey, working.
Okay, sorry, so you didn't say that. So we're on the Eastern Standard Time. So we can connect easier, right, with a Zoom call. And
I'm in Orlando, so that's good.
Joel, you're in Orlando,
right?
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Yeah.
Oh, you are in
all my neighbors here.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess as soon as this gets over, I need to take my first trip to Orlando, Florida now, so that I can, meet these wonderful people that I just connected with. And that's fantastic, all this travel that you've done. I've been fortunate to traveled in a few countries myself. But the reason I say that is that I think, I mean, you can speak to that, but and interesting, the culture shock you mentioned, but a lot of people are not fortunate enough or don't take opportunity or not fortunate enough to travel. But I think when you go around the world and you see the world, your perspective on the world and life really changes. And I'm sure you can attest to that better than I can. But, it's a beautiful thing to see that you're such a, there's so much world out there. There's so much love, and there's so much to give and get. I don't know if I'm making sense, but, I think I admire people who are well traveled. Yeah. I admire that.
Well, I can only, it was really for work. So it wasn't like I was elegantly going on vacation with my Louis Vuitton luggage. I was working, but I left with a cookie cutter. And my cookie cutter, I thought, well, doing business in the UK, doing business in Spain, doing business in Greece, I brought my cookie cutter. And I found out that I had to throw my cookie cutter away because people have different standards. They have different values. They didn't understand how fast I was talking. They were intimidated by some of the Americanism that we were imposing in our business policies, even though we thought we were right because that's our cookie cutter. But we found out that we had to really learn how to think and talk with our heart instead of our wallet. And then that in turn, we would win followers, that would win team members, and then we could row boats together. So we had to throw the cookie cutter away and bring in some other tools, which you find right here.
Well, that's why and I admire you that you're out there now teaching and coaching and sharing the things that you learned. That's amazing because again, I understand many people do not have opportunity to travel. You were fortunate to travel for business, same as me. The whole reason I came to America was because of my job. I never thought that I would come to America. I mean, I thought maybe I would go to Europe or Canada maybe, but I never thought America somehow. But it happened because of the job, as you were mentioning, and it takes you to fantastic places. And traveling gives you just a fantastic perspective. So I really admire what you're doing now, sharing that perspective, because that's really needed. That's right now in the times and the world we live, for people to understand other people's perspective. That's where I think we lack. So kudos to you for doing that.
No, thank you. But I mean, in the beginning, it was we get to see this weekend is the Taj Mahal. Next weekend is the Eiffel Tower, Tour de Eiffel. Then we're going to go see the Oktoberfest in Munich. And then later it became, guess who? We met Hans. Remember Hans? And it was the people that we met, not the places that we saw.
Right.
It was the people that we met. And that's what makes a place special. That's what brings us. So if we can be ambassadors of our own culture and do it in such a way where people go, hey, well, I actually thought you guys were all with the cookie cutter, but maybe you're different. Maybe that's something that we can pass on to other people too. Just, it's okay. I think COVID has given us all a license to be a little nicer, and that's okay.
As I was saying, everything either happens for a reason, or we look back and we find a reason in it.